Perhaps we could converse a bit here about the end of our consciousness, ending our consciousness. No longer having knowledge as our guide. There actually isn't any, as with most things that I speak of, there's no real language for this, because already you're probably saying, what the hell is he talking about, ending our consciousness? Wouldn't that end us? In actuality, no. It would end me what I think the religious people call it the end times, meaning ending time as our director, as our directive. So, is it possible for us to end our present consciousness? It has its root, its core, in violence, because it is of knowledge. And in order for knowledge to be there, it has to have already experienced, has to have already been experienced, or has to have already experienced itself. That means it's always in the past. So that means, then, that I'm asking, can we end this consciousness that is directing us from our past? You see, how simple is it to realize that if our consciousness of our past is directing us, then all we can do is repeat our past. Go from war to war to war to war, get ready for war in between, ever and ever, until we end this experience called experiment called life on planet Earth. So I'm suggesting here that it is possible to end our current consciousness because we're given it's a fake consciousness. Fake news. There we go. Now we're current, aren't we? Fake news. It's actual fake consciousness because it is guided by, brought forth from, our past. And we've already lived our past. That means that now we are reliving our past and reliving our past and then reliving our past. And then I think you get the idea. So there is a possibility for ending the consciousness that directs us. We're coming right now up to the ending of the year 2020. Now we cannot begin manifesting the year 2021 until the year 2020 is dead, until it's gone, until it's over with. When it's done, then the year 2021 can begin. So I'm suggesting this same possibility that we end the consciousness of knowledge-directed life. Well, if you have a distinction, it would be called knowledge-directed existence, because we are only existing when our life is being manifested from what we've already lived. That would be called repeating. Who's that nutcase guy? Oh, Einstein. So something about doing something over and over and expecting a different result. We've been doing that for thousands of years now. It's doing the same thing over and over and over. We expect a different result, and we always go to war, all the way from Genghis Khan to Popo and whoever else, Hitler, and today, well, we're getting rid of him, or otherwise it would be Trump, although he once won here in America. So I'm suggesting here, seriously, that if we do not end the present consciousness, which has its core in violence, which manifests itself from violence. Violence is always that which is already lived. Then the violence itself will end us. The manner in which we're living will end us. This current pandemic may turn out to be that. Karma's a bitch, but only if you've been one. So, if you would look within yourself, and if you see that you call yourself a man or a woman, or you say you're an American or Chinese or Japanese or a Muslim or a Catholic or a Protestant or any of those labels, then you are being and living from the past. And in most cases, in all cases, you can't live up to them because it's a phantom label to begin with. Who in the hell knows what a man is or a woman is? So this whole conversation that we're having here together, all these people that are joined here with me, or just me, is about the end of our consciousness. And the possibility is that we don't see the huge importance of it, the bigly importance of it. We can't go into that because if you do something to cause something else, then that's just manipulation. It's not real. So that which I'm pointing towards, you need to see for yourself. Ending the director, that which tells us which to do, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, is knowledge. To end knowledge as our director, will be, for each individual, your transformation. And when there is enough transformed individuals, there can then be critical mass, which would then push us away from our present consciousness of violence, of evil, of belief and thought. You see, we are stuck in the consciousness of knowledge, thought, and belief. And all knowledge, thought, and belief can do is repeat itself. If new, meaning never having been before, is of interest to you, that has to come from creation. We have to create that. If we create it, then intelligence will hold what we have created, and then truth will deliver it into the psychological, into the physical, our physical world, because truth is a bridge. Creation, intelligence, and then truth leads up to a certain point, then it disappears because there's a chasm there. Then truth takes up over here because it extends into the physical universe. Truth. However, knowledge and thought and belief has been our director for so many thousands of years that truth is the enemy of the people. If you go around telling the truth, oh Lord, I've been doing it for 41 years, I can tell you what'll happen. But truth is the enemy of knowledge, thought, and belief, because it's always of the present. It's always now. Knowledge, thought, and belief is always of yesterday. It's always that which preceded. And of course, in that, we project into the future that we're still going to be doing the same thing. Knowledge and thought and belief forms its own projection and puts it into our future. We do that from the present, by the way. When you're stuck in knowledge and thought and belief, then in our present, what we do is take our history and put it into our future, and then we live the future. It's the same thing what they call a predestination. But we are the predestinationers. Is there such a word? We are the ones who are predestining our life, and then we live what we predestined. And we don't notice it. We don't see, wait a minute, we're the ones doing it. And worse, we sit around and pray that some deity or some deity's son, or maybe a talking snake, or somebody's going to come down and save us, when it is us who needs to save us. And if we don't save ourselves, SOS, that's called. I'm sending out an SOS. Then we're not going to be saved. There is no one coming to bail us out. No big Hondo, hoocho, mucho. If there was, they would already be here. But she isn't coming. She said, it's up to you guys. Nope, I'm not going to do it. Either you stand up, become 100% responsible for yourself, or the experiment called Life on Planet Earth will not be so pleasant. Well, it hasn't been pleasant, has it? It's been war to war, and argue, fight. Suicides, rapes, all the things that is our planet. Some have billions of dollars, fly around in their own airplanes and yachts, and live in $10 and $15 million homes. Those are the preachers. Those are the guys who bring God and tell us that somebody's going to come and save us. If we send them money, then God's going to, something like that. So my suggestion here is collectively, well, first individually, each of you need to end your present consciousness. And that is a creative action. It's not an action you can say, okay, I'm going to figure out how to do this. It's not one that you can understand. You cannot understand what I'm saying. You probably laugh. That's because you're goddamn crazy, Edward. You can't understand what it is that I'm saying. You have to far surpass understanding. Because understanding is the highest point of thought. But it's still thought. It's still based on knowledge and belief. It's thought. So the possibility to create in your life, ending the consciousness of violence, lives with you, and it needs to be created. Just as a little hint, the first step in the creation is to notice who it is you are now, what it is you are now, and what it is you're doing. and tell the truth about it. So if you care to delve into what I'm saying 100%, then create the manner in which to do it. And if you care to create the manner in which to do it, you might consider first creating creation for yourself. I create creation for myself. That way you'll have something to create from. Thank you if you have been listening. A perfect life to each.